What's going on? This is my review for Public Enemy starring Johnny Depp and Christian Bale. I would rate this movie an 8 out of 10. So I really like Johnny Depp's portrayal as John Dillinger in this movie. I feel like he does a really well job. Like he fits into that role perfectly. And Christian Bale's character, Melvin Purvis, he does a great job as that as well. This movie is very energetic from the get-go. Right away, we're getting a breakout scene. John Dillinger is being not sent to jail, but he's being brought in. They end up breaking some of his crew out. And something that I really liked about this breakout scene, right from the beginning, you get a sense of how John Dillinger's character is going to be portrayed. And he kind of takes no bullshit in a sense. He likes to stick to his plan if he has one. Like, for example, in the breakout scene, they're trying to break the men out. They're not necessarily that they wouldn't kill anybody, but there was unnecessary casualties. One of his crew that he's breaking out ends up shooting a guard, or I think two guards get killed or something or injured. John Dillinger in this instance is just like that wasn't part of the plan. He doesn't say that, but you get that. And that's what I like about Johnny Depp's performance as him is like you get what he's you get what who he is and what he's about. And continuing on from that, when they end up kicking that guy out of their car down the road from the jail, they're just like, all right, well, that wasn't part of the plan. Bye. Shoves him out of the car. This is one of my favorite Johnny Depp performances. It's one of his, I feel like, few performances lately, maybe within the past 10 years or so, where he's not covered in makeup. He's not like a gothic character. He doesn't have the really pale face. It's like Edward Scissorhands. I know that's an older movie, but I'm even like the Sweeney Todd movie. He plays the Mad Hatter in the Alice in Wonderland movies, and he just doesn't have all the makeup on. It's Johnny Depp, and you see him, but you see Dillinger. Like you can see the Dillinger in him, and I really love that about this film. I don't know if this movie got any Oscar buzz or any kind of award buzz. I don't think it did, but I feel like it might have been underrated. I might have to look that up. It feels like it's such an underrated movie to me, and I think this is one of my favorite gangster films. So in the first robbery scene, they're obviously robbing a bank. Everybody is scared. They're getting the money from the guy, from the tellers at the teller line and from the vault. And on their way out, there's a customer who put all his cash that he had in his pocket, his coins as well, on the table, and Dillinger says, "Oh, put your cash away. We're not here for your money. We're here for the bank's money." And I love that little part in that scene because it shows a feeling of humility in Dillinger. It stuck out. I think I rewatched that scene like 3 times because I was just like, wow, like I don't know if this is true or not. I mean, someone could have made that up and it got stuck in history as, oh, Dillinger wasn't that bad of a guy. But I really like that about this portrayal of him is, he doesn't want the common man's money. He wants the bank's money. Something that I also really liked about Dillinger in this movie is the way he's portrayed as he's very caring towards women. There's a scene where this one girl's he asks her, I think, "Are you cold?" or something, and I don't know if she says yes or shakes her head, but he gives her his coat. It's very chivalrous from a guy who's a gangster. I don't feel like that that's more of a soft side, but it goes back to the whole way he's being portrayed. His like humility of everything, and I really like that about the way. I don't know if that was Johnny Depp's, just the way it happens. I don't know if that was Depp's performance. Like I know like that's in the script, but it's just the way his charisma. I don't know how to explain it. It's just little things like that, and the whole money thing, like I explained earlier, like just things like that. I feel like they're like these little gems just put in there, and it's watching this movie. They include a lot about J. Edgar Hoover. You know, he's the leader of the FBI. You know, they don't follow his character a lot, but he's in the movie. Hoover is the one who is assigning or assigned Bale's character Melvin Purvis to the Dillinger case and his whole crew. There's a scene where I feel like Hoover is made not like he looks like a fool, but kind of weak. In the scene, he's asking for more money for their like efforts, basically. Like they need more funding. The board or the judge or whoever it is, I think it's a committee or something. They are they deny him his funding request, and in this particular scene, it feels like when he's made to look weak or have no control, because if you look at J. Edgar Hoover, he's very much a person who's always wanted control in history. But back to what I was saying, he looks kind of like a fool and powerless in this scene because they're telling him, no, we're not going to give you more funding. And I feel like, not that they make fun of him, but they ask him, how many arrests have you personally made? And then he goes on to say that they've made over 200 plus arrests, but he has not been involved in actually arresting anyone. And I think that is like not funny, but it's ironic, kind of in the sense of like how the board or committee they're taunting him in a sense, saying like, oh, well, you haven't even made an arrest. How can we prove that this is blah blah blah? You know, like, is it worth our money to fund you some more when you have no actual field experience? They actually say that to him. He has no field experience because he's the administrator. You know, he doesn't get his hands dirty. But I think that that's a good scene, and it makes him look powerless. As you know, he's this historical figure of always wanting power and control. There's another good quote in this movie that I really liked. I don't know if they're in a restaurant eating or if it's just a bar, but I think it's a restaurant. And one guy is trying to tell Dillinger about this, you know, the next job, the next big thing. You know, you retire after this kind of job. Like, where are you gonna go where you retire after you get this money? And Dillinger responds, I'm sorry, I'm reading off my phone. He says, we're having too good a time today. We ain't thinking about tomorrow. And I thought that was the, like, best line of the movie, you know, and it shows who he is, who his character is. You know, they're focused in the now. They're not focused about what's coming next. They're just having a good time today. So why think about what we're going to do tomorrow? You know, we're having a blast right now at the restaurant drinking, doing whatever they are. But I rewound this like 4 or 5 times. I kid you not. And I just, every time I heard it, it stuck with me a little more. And I think that's my favorite quote from any movie. I don't know. It's just so relevant, especially with what's going on today. Like, let's focus on what's going on now, not tomorrow. Another thing absolutely loved in this movie was the way Johnny Depp portrays Dillinger as this, like, elegant. Elegant isn't the right word, but I think it's charismatic. I said that earlier. His charisma of, like, the way he gets his girl in this movie. I think he approaches her while they're at that same dinner or wherever they are. And then he goes and he tells her to wait outside for him as he's discussing like business, and then she disappears. And then I don't know if it's the next day or later that night, but I think it's the next day. He goes and he finds her job, and then he just walks up to her and he's like, you know, if you're gonna be my girl, you can't do that, and you want to come with me, basically. And she's just like, I don't even know you. So he names off things he likes: baseball, whiskey, fast cars, and he's just like, boom, come on, let's go. And it's just so charismatic. You're just encapsulated by his performance. Another funny scene to me in this movie is he gets arrested after they're at I think it's like a hotel in Miami because they're at some races. I don't know if he already got transported back or if he's still in like Florida, but He's such like this cocky fuck when he gets arrested. He's just at that point in the movie when he's being interviewed and he's just smiling the whole time, and it's so funny because it's like he's not even in like was ever in handcuffs or got arrested. He's just there talking to the interviewers or the newscasters like they're his buddies. Like he's just having a good time joking with them, and he's so cocky about it. One of my favorite scenes in this movie was it's more towards the end of the movie, and it's Dillinger's held up at this point. I think it's just him and like one of his actual crew. You know, I think Babyface Nelson is there. He dies that night. There's this shooting scene between Dillinger, his like last man on his crew, and they're just running through like the woods near this like hold up house where they're at, and they're just running for it, you know, shooting, hiding behind trees, and at one point, Dillinger's last man, he gets shot, and I think he dies later on. You know, they're running through the woods, and it's such a well shot scene. I don't know if they use natural lighting from like the moon because it doesn't look like there's any artificial light in the scene, and it's just such a well shot scene. That's probably my favorite scene from the movie. I don't know if there's any other scene I feel like I've ever like watched in a movie like that. In the end of the movie, obviously, spoilers. If you don't know, but John Dillinger gets shot as he's leaving the movie theater. You know, he's betrayed by one of the women who's kind of been helping him out as his time as a gangster, and she sells him out according to the movie. I don't know if that's how it went down in history. He is shot in the back of like the neck or like right in the back of his head, and it comes out like through his face. And in that moment, you wish he's not getting shot because you watch this whole movie, and yes, he's the bad guy, but it's his the way Johnny Depp portrayed him. You don't want him to die. It's like he's the hero. And I think in the movie, maybe it's something else I read about him that it's like he was like seen as like a hero for, I don't want to say the poor, but like he was big during the time of the Depression, and you know it's like he was a hero for lower class people. I feel that I read. I think that's what I read. It was such a sad moment because you don't want him to die, and it's you know he's a bad guy. He robbed banks, but in your eyes, he's not that bad of a guy. Anyway, so that was my review for Public Enemies, starring Johnny Depp. Definitely one of my favorite gangster films, if not my favorite. Let me know what you guys thought if you've seen this movie. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Leave any suggestions that you have for movies that I should review. I know it's been a while since my last one, but I'm trying to get into a full swing of things, you know. I really want to start doing at least 3 a week. I know I think I said that in the last video, but it's just been crazy. So yeah, thank you guys for watching.